This is the Rebel Scum Podcast. Available in video on YouTube and audio wherever you listen to your podcasts. Every week, Brock and James talk the latest rumors, news, and theories from a galaxy far, far away. Support us on Patreon for exclusive offers and join the Star Wars discussion. Patreon.com/Rebel Scum Podcast. Here are your hosts, Brock and James.
You are always scum. Rebel Scum.
Boom. Rebel Scum Podcast, episode 346. I'm Brock.
James.
This is James.
Thankful James on his
Thankful James and mashed potatoes, Brock.
What's your favorite meal at Thanksgiving?
Stuffing.
What's your go-to dish? Stuff. Yeah, 100%. All right, good.
Yep.
We're on the
Thank
same
you.
page.
Good night.
The end.
It is Thanksgiving in America. It is Thursday in Canada.
Yeah. It's still Thursday in America.
Still Thursday somewhere.
Who do you got in the big football game right now? Who you got in the game?
The red team.
Oh!
Boom.
I did go years ago to a Lions game on Thanksgiving, and that was a lot of fun. I'm not gonna lie. If I could do that again, I don't know why I couldn't, but if I could do it again, I would totally do it because that was a blast. Just saying. I'm not even a Lions fan.
For someone that I don't really care about sports, I do get jealous about just like sports in America, especially at the collegiate level. Like, could you imagine just be like, yeah, I went to the school and now I cheer for the football team? Like, I'm pretty sure I went to colleges and university that had sports teams.
Mine did, yeah.
I was just like, okay, cool.
Well, even like we met working on OHL hockey.
Yeah.
And that's like, I mean, in the smaller cities, it's different, but like, yeah, it's not even the same. But yeah, college hockey isn't the same as college football, obviously, but even that draws bigger numbers, right? Like, they're very loyal to their alma maters down south. We are, I don't know if we are or not. I don't know. I don't even know if we have them. How do we stuffing? I think I'm still gonna have stuffing. Like, I mean, this is live, but I would have stuffing on American Thanksgiving all the time. Well, we do, Brock. We do a Thanksgiving meal on American Thanksgiving because this is my official kickoff to the Christmas season. After the show, I'm watching Polar Express. Just read it before this. I read it to Selena before bed. That's like our routine. Our one tradition that we have is on American Thanksgiving. We have a nice little dinner. And then we do the Polar Express thing. So, and that started the same day I went to go see the Lions game. Full circle moment.
There you go. Sports. Star Wars. We are 3, 4, 5.
Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. 5. Well, today count? 4 or 5.
Tomorrow's
Monday.
Friday. Saturday, Sunday, Monday. We have Star Wars. We are in single digit, folks.
It's our last podcast without new Star Wars.
Amazing! I can't
until
believe
like
it
late winter or early spring. Yeah,
it is our last podcast before a very nonsense Christmas comes out on Netflix, and that's my next Friday. That's a week from tomorrow, where my wife is going to make me watch the Sabrina Carpenter concert Christmas special, whatever it is, on Netflix. We're gonna come back changed, folks.
I have thoughts on Sabrina Carpenter. We won't get into it. She's like, it's like the kid in the back that's like, look at me. That's how I feel. I'm like, she's calm down. Wear some pants. That's all I gotta say about that. Or don't. I don't know. She's doing well. So whatever. Her songs work very well for TikTok videos is what I've
That's me espresso.
That song was nuts. All right.
Yeah.
I don't even know. I don't know any. I'm old. Actually, you realize that as you get older, that you're old when you're like. I saw something and I saw like a bunch of like the Grammy time last year or something. I was like, I don't know any of these people. I don't know any of them. And the word, this is when you know you're old. It's not that you don't know them, that you don't care to know who they are. You're like, I don't know who those people are, and I don't care. Where's the Springsteen at? Okay, let's go.
Oh God.
Put on my Dre. I know, and then I got some. And then you know what though? This year my favorite songs I think from this year were probably like Eminem and Blink 182 to show my age. I was like, oh look, they're back.
Oh, what's your age again?
You know that song's sad too because I was a teenager when that came out, and now I'm like, oh, no one knows what a payphone is when they say that or any
or payphone.
Anyway, let's talk about Star Wars.
Star Wars.
Monday, very excited. We're going to hopefully go live after that show.
Yeah.
And hopefully all the shows, but definitely that one will go live. Because I don't know, man. Like, we talked about this earlier in the day, but that second trailer when they played Major Tom, I was like, I don't need that song in my life. But I also said, like, it's not for me. I'm okay. Like, I'll separate myself. I'm going to see the show anyway. But they've started using the Star Wars theme music in these little TV trailers. I don't know if they're for TV. Like, the commercials, whatever they are, with the 80s narrator voice. And I'm just like, the Star Wars music, it's one of those things where like Mandalorian, I love the music, but the minute like Luke shows up and they go with the John Williams, you're just like, this is Star. Like there's something about that music that I don't know if they will in the show, but I hope they utilize Star Wars music more than they have in a lot of the shows. I think Ahsoka so far has done the best job of original score with classic Star Wars score.
Mm-hmm.
Obi-Wan for me was the worst in terms of that. I was like, Star Wars, let's go. Yeah. But like, I don't know. What my point is, I'm like, this looks like a hell of a good time for Star Wars.
Yeah. I'm still reeling from the news that Pete told us that they are showing this in the theaters. And I'm like, what? There's like none theaters. None of the theaters are showing it in Canada except for 2 apparently in BC. So kudos to the theaters in America. I think there's like 25. So it's not like every theater. It's like you had to be aware that this was happening, and I think they're all sold out. So it's like that's great. Like it's even if this isn't the Star Wars show to change everyone's thoughts on Star Wars, like I still think this is fun. Like that's not the first one to try to do this where they show something in the theater that's meant for streaming, but like I love that. If I had known, I would be all over that, but I did not.
No, I didn't know either. I think, because you always said like The Last Jedi was needed the way they use The Last Jedi. Like we can't keep going to the same well and all that.
Yeah.
And you're probably right in the long run. Like it needs to change to survive.
Yeah.
But I think, I don't know, just thinking about it, spitballing, I don't even know if I agree with this, but I feel like maybe The Last Jedi might have happened too soon. And I know it's 8 movies in, but it's not really. It's the second movie on the new era.
Yeah.
And it's almost like you've just kind of reestablished what Star Wars was. Now you're going to flip it like the next time we come to it. Might have happened too soon. And I think going back to Skeleton Crew, going back to the roots of Star Wars, the fun of it, the reason why Denis Villeneuve talks about what he does in your news later on is like, maybe that's what they need to do. Let everybody know, like, hey, we know Star Wars, and then just slowly progress to like, to that change. Because I don't know, just thinking back, like, yeah, I agree. Like, it needs to change to survive, but then also, like, maybe it was just got us back, and you did that right away. So I don't know. That's just it. Just kind of hit me right now.
Yeah, like it's true. Like if the second sequel movie hadn't been the Rian Johnson Last Jedi, where we're like, oh, like there's like, well, what if we change the status quo that is Star Wars? But then it's just like, you're right. It was like we were too new into this new era. Like if that movie hadn't existed the way it did, and then we get to that, like, I've mentioned this before. I love that monologue in Acolyte with Chimera where he's like, this is a joke. Like, it's like, just because I was like, why do we have to do this? Why do I have to be this if I'm evil and you are this if you're good? Like, I think that would resonate way louder. I don't know, maybe that for me at least. I'd be like, this is the episode. Look, they're saying something right here, and it's just like that could be a touchstone moment into the future of Star Wars. But like, yeah, you're right. It's just like, yeah, I don't know. Like I think, maybe Rise of Skywalker. Last Jedi is a touchstone moment where it's just a matter of like, oh, Star Wars characters turning on each other. Fans turning on each other, specifically.
I wonder if, and we won't know until this happens, but somebody who watched all 9 movies, we won't count Rogue One or Solo because whatever.
Yeah, okay.
But if somebody watched all 9 movies for the first time, in like, let's say like a few weeks or a month span or 2 or whatever, but in a row and they watch them, I wonder how Last Jedi plays out to them. If it is like, this is like, if it's more natural, or if it's like, I just wonder, because that movie's 30 plus years since the return of the sequel that it is too, right? Like it's tough, because I still think, we talked about this before, but I still think they need to figure out how to flesh out, or they should have thought too much happened off screen in The Force Awakens even. And that's part of the reason why I'm pretty negative on The Force Awakens sometimes. I mean, the movie's fun as hell, don't get me wrong, but like it kind of just glosses over too much. It's like, don't worry about it. I don't worry about it. And you're like, but someone's gonna have to worry about it. And eventually we got to the end and they're like, no, and don't worry about it. And that's, they needed to, I think there needs to be more thought put into what happened in that time. And we talked about this earlier in the day, but like more about that time. And I just like, they have Disney Plus now, and they're like afraid to touch anything there, to just like Shadows of the Empire has done a better job of fleshing out between two movies that don't even need fleshing out than we've gotten in 12 years right now. Like, I just don't get how they haven't done this yet. Like, it just like, give it to us. We all want it. Every single person is like, even the people who hate it, if you give a good Luke Skywalker story and then you show his fall from grace, I don't know, I think you could do a really tragic tale there that I think a lot of fans would probably like hate at first, but then when you watch it, you'd be like, oh yeah, this makes sense. And now Last Jedi makes sense, and I get it. Let's move on.
Yeah, like, it's just kind of, when you think about it, it's like they have a Star Wars theme park now, and there's been almost no cross-pollination in marketing for that and the movies. Like, there is and there isn't. You know what I mean? Like, you have something there that could be worthwhile. Like, but like, it's Star Wars fans or whoever just like, dude, this is the holy like tomes. Like, you can't mess with this. I'm like it's like it's true. We've said this millions of times. It's like, it's just, they're so precious with this thing, but it's just like, Marvel's is like, oh, whatever. Which era of our comics do you want to take from? No problem. I don't know. It's very strange.
Yeah, I think the problem is, there's a catch-22 is you can't do things for fans because then you have The Last Jedi. But then when you do things for fans, you have The Rise of Skywalker. So where I feel like there's somewhere in the middle you've got to meet. Like, I think I don't know what it is. It's almost like, let the fans know that you respect the material, which is why the accolade is so baffling to me. Because, okay, the Kiadi Monday birthday thing, whatever. But I felt like there were a lot of choices in that show that I was just like, I don't know what the F they're smoking over there. But the thing is, there was a lot of it. I'm like, I feel like there's like a really pure understanding and love for the material, but it's buried underneath a pile of poo. Like, I'm like, and what happened? Like, cause I was like, cause there's little things that are like catarsis. I'm like, well, how do you pull that one out of your butt? Like, obviously someone had to know. Like, I feel like Leslie Headland knows a lot about Star Wars and really appreciates Star Wars. But I really want the book to come out about what the hell happened with that show. Cause I feel like that's not the show we were meant to get.
Yeah.
Or there's something missing, because the budget was also massive.
Yeah.
There's something missing there. And I just like, there's a lot, like the accolade, like I said, it wasn't my favorite, but there's like little things that I'm like, that's great. That's also great. Yeah. And then like, you sit through an episode, you're like, what? And then my biggest problem with The Acolyte though was when it ended, Erin turned to me, she said, what did you think? And I said, I don't know why this exists.
Yeah.
And that's not a good feeling to have when something ends, right? I was like hoping like, oh, okay. And you're like, I don't get it. Like, why am I doing this right now?
Yeah. So like, yeah, I hope like, again, I don't know if Skeleton Crew is going to like revolutionize Star Wars, but I'm just like, just give us something. Just something to enjoy. Like, that's it. Like, we have a podcast about Star Wars. We want to be able to talk about something. Like, it can't all just be about books and comics, because it's just like that becomes way too pricey. Like, I don't know.
Yeah. I think like part of my point was Skeleton Crew is going to should be a breath of fresh air. A breath of fresh air. And that, go back to, I guess, Return of the Jedi roots. Just make like a fun adventure that people can cling on to and be like, oh, that was good. Just make it good. Like Force Awakens. People love Force Awakens. Why? It's not deep, right? I don't think it's deep, but it's a hell of a lot of fun. It also uses the music perfectly, but it's a hell of a lot of fun. And they just were like, it reminded you of why there's like just like a vibe to it. Then like, okay, it's nostalgia, which is all Disney thinks Star Wars is right now based on the article, but like it hit something, it hit a nerve that it was able to make $2 billion. And now obviously it's not easy to continue to do that, but like I feel like just keeping like a status quo of, okay, this is Star Wars, don't try to go too far. And if they can have like Skeleton Crew or if that's like a 1-2 punch of solid Star Wars, then you give us the Mando and Grogu movie. Okay, there's 3 slaps in the face of awesomeness. Who knows what Ahsoka is going to bring? If it has an ending, it could be great, but who knows? But then you could start to like try to do things like, okay, here's a series. It's a little bit different, but like when you do it right away, and Acolyte also came out at the wrong time because people were very down on Star Wars at that time, like Boba Fett, Mando 3, and Mando 3, Andor's a weird one because people love it or they're like, it's boring. I can't figure that out.
Yeah.
What else came out? Mando, Boba Fett, Ahsoka. So people were kind of down on Star Wars from those 3. Everyone was like, even though Book of Boba Fett is the greatest thing to ever be produced from Star Wars, but that happened, and so that also led into it as well. But I just feel like Skeleton Crew is gonna. First, I think they need it to be a hit, but I just get this feeling like I think they have a gem on their hands, and they don't even know it. Now that I said that, it's going to be a disaster.
Let's go to the board. You're fired.
Oh, she fired. I think that's the second or third time.
No, you're fired.
Oh.
She retired. You fired. Oh, finally. We got rid of the dead weight on this podcast. So anyways, in chapter 3 of Light of the Jedi by Charles Soule, the first of the High Republic books, you find out that they like to eat pizza. Bring yourself back. I'm not going to talk to myself like, this is crazy. I hate that you could control.
I was trying to find a picture to put on in my place, but I couldn't find anything funny. I was fired. I've never been fired. But you're out of here. Well, me and KK, we're going to go have brunch because we're both on the unemployment line. The Star Wars unemployment line. The good old. I do though. I do think that it's, I don't know. I have faith. I didn't have faith in Skeleton Crew. I think I said this earlier today because they were hiding it for so long. I'm like, what? But you know what? The Acolyte is, like we talked about, the first thing that was like officially canceled from Star Wars, and maybe they were kind of like waiting for the dust to settle from like the negative impact that had. Because I don't know if you went online after the Acolyte, but it was it was very tiring to manage our comments during the run of the Acolyte. Let's just put it that way. Like, even though we weren't even like praising it, you're like, I enjoyed it. I'm like, the comments were like, I'm like, I get it. We don't need to engage in this conversation. So I think they were just waiting for the dust to settle because it looks like a lot of fun, and Jude Law is awesome.
Yeah.
He was in the Talented Mr.
He was young Dumbledore.
He was young Dumbledore. He was Alfie. He's in The Holiday, which has the greatest score since Star Wars. Hills I Will Die On, the score of the Holiday. Also has Edward Burns, one of my favorite actors. Filmmakers.
Oh yeah.
Cameo at the beginning. I guess it's a cameo technically. Cameron Diaz dumps him. Spoiler alert if you haven't seen The Holiday. It's a new movie.
The embargo is lifted on The Holiday. Spoilers.
That actually, speaking of embargoes, has anyone seen Skeleton Crew? Like, I haven't heard anything from Skeleton Crew. Like, what's going on? I also don't care what people say about Skeleton Crew because I'm watching it and probably going to form my own opinion because I'm in my 40s and I know how to do that. But I don't know. I'm really curious, like, why we haven't heard anything.
Will blue skies ruin Star Wars episodes like Twitter did?
I'm on Blue Sky. I follow our friend Dwayne, and that's it.
Yeah. So it might not at all, depending on how many people you follow. So
yeah, I know. Well, I know. No, the algorithm will 100% still be Wicked by that time. I'll still see. I've seen the entirety of Wicked through Twitter, just scrolling on Twitter. I'm like, oh, interesting. I didn't know half of what I knew about Wicked. I knew nothing about Wicked. And now I'm pretty sure I know half the plot at least.
Yeah.
Like pretty confident I know half the plot. And not because of the crazy interviews with the crazy cast, because of people videotaping movie screens, which is wild to me.
Mm-hmm.
Wild. I haven't been to the theater in a while. Do you go often?
The last time I went, I can't remember what I saw. I want to see Venom. I just haven't at the time.
I liked it.
Oh, did you see Venom?
Yeah, I went to the theater and watched it.
Nice.
I liked it. Do you like the other two movies?
Yeah, I like the first one a lot. The second one didn't really land, but it was trying to do a lot. But like Tom Hardy and talking to himself, I would watch 2 more movies of that.
Yeah, I'll say I enjoyed the third one. I liked it better than the second one because the second one, I like short movies, but that one felt like they crammed like a 2.5-hour movie in 90 minutes, and I was like I needed to catch my breath, and it didn't let me.
Yeah.
The only thing with this one is the cop from the second one is in it for I don't know why. I'm still like, and he's a good actor. I'm like, why did you bring him back? And they're like, we don't know. He's in the contractually obligated, and we put him in. Like, why is he? They're like, we don't know. It's even when we first get reintroduced to him, it's like this makes like why what? It's just a weird choice.
Remember when is it in the second one or what is it that you see him again and it's like he's affected by the snap? Is that
end of the second one? Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's the end of the second one. So this one I also they deal with that at the beginning. And I won't ruin it for you, but they deal with it. Let's say that.
Oh, okay.
They deal. Well, no, they don't deal with the snap. They deal with like him being transported to another universe or multiverse, gotcha. And it's like the cop. You're like, what?
Is that why Michelle Williams is not in this one, or is she in this one?
No, she's not. It's not a spoiler, I don't think, but she's not. But she's mentioned. She's not in it because it's like a road trip. They're going from like Mexico to Area 51 or something. It's just them on it's just Eddie and Venom on a road trip. And honestly, because you like him talking to himself, that's why I think you might enjoy this movie. Because that's what it is. It's just them talking to each other for 90 minutes. And you're like, all right, let's go.
All right. Perfect. Sold.
I would say if you want to see it for null, don't. That's what
I totally do.
Because null, I believe all of the scenes are in the trailer. Just so you know.
Oh, fantastic!
Yeah,
I honestly do not care who he tussles with in this. It doesn't. Like I said, just him talking to himself. I'm like,
I will say there was one part I'm like, oh man, this is more emotional than half the movies I've watched lately. They do good. Rise Ifans character's pointless, like just weird. Like there's some weird choices, but I really enjoyed it. Like I don't know, it's not as much as the first one, but because it's just those two on a road trip for 90 minutes, I'm like, yeah, I like it. I don't know how we got to this on like Star Wars podcast. But back to basic. It's not a good movie, but it made it's enjoyable enough that it made $430 million on the box office.
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah, I would recommend you go to see it based on what I know you like.
Yeah. Nice.
It won't be like your top movie of the year. It might be. I think it's Venom and then Wicked are like the 1-2 movies.
Perfect.
And let's do the blind rankings.
Let's do it.
Wait. Boom.
Wow.
The impact that has. Blind rankings on Thanksgiving 2020, American Thanksgiving 2024, because we already celebrated our Thanksgiving a month ago. We're going to go with top 5. Rank them without knowing what comes next, Brock. Children in Star Wars, because Skeleton Crew is all about the kids. Skeleton Crew is all about the kids. So I want to know who your favorite kids are in Star Wars.
Okay.
I'll have to delete last week's. Rey's yellow, Ahsoka Tano, Kylo Ren's crossblade was number 5. Wow. Kids in Star Wars. Here we go. Young Anakin from The Phantom Menace.
Oh, he is.
Yippee!
He is
Yippee!
One of my favorite Star Wars memes. I'm a person, and my name is Bananakin.
I love Bananakin.
I'm trying to think if there's another child that outranks this child. We are gonna get in trouble for this. I'm just gonna play the odds and put Anakin at number 1.
I'm gonna call him Little Anakin, like Little Archie.
Little Anakin.
I love Little Archie. Was one of my favorite things when I got an Archie comic. Like all of a sudden, you're like Little Archie. I was like, this is the greatest thing ever. And then they made a Little Archie issue for a while, and I was like, Mom, gotta go to Shoppers Drug Mart and get some Archie.
But it's like, were you ever like I have to read Peanuts, which is basically the same thing?
No, I was never into Peanuts, but I love.
Yeah, that's right. Isn't that funny how it works?
Archie was weird because they had like 1,000 different ones, and I remember, I guess it was like 30 years ago. They're like, we're changing the names of a few of them. I'm like, whoa, what? Because one of my favorite Archie comics is Archie and Jughead, and they rebranded that one. I was like, and Archie Andrews, where are you? Loved Archie Andrews. They all had the same comics in them, but the names were the best. All right, that was Young Anakin. Next, let's go with Young Leia Organa from the Obi-Wan Kenobi show. Little Leia.
It's funny that you mentioned her because I actually looked at that actress on IMDb recently because I just read the book it's called Bird Box, but it's what they based the Netflix movie on, Bird Box, and she's like that actress is one of the kids in that as well. So I was just really? Oh yeah. I'm like, I totally forget about this kid in Star Wars. She was pretty cool.
I did not like Bird Box, by the way.
Book's a little bit better, actually. I'm gonna put Young Leia at number 3.
Little Leia number 3. Next, we're gonna have Ezra Bridger.
Number two.
Ezra Bridger, number 2.
Yeah.
Oh my god, I spelled Ezra wrong. Ezra Bridger. He's not little. Ezra Bridger is pretty old. Young Boba Fett from Attack of the Clones.
Oh. I'm optimistic there's going to be a better one, so I'm going to put him at number 5.
I'm going to call him Young Boba Fett because he's the bounty hunter. He shouldn't be little. And number 4. And I'm putting like what he's referred to as in quotations so that you don't argue with me on this one. Grogu the child.
Oh, didn't even think about Grogu. Shoot.
Because he's 50. but he's called the child, and so that is
it counts. It counts.
Little Anakin, I think that's a good number one. Yippee!
Yeah.
Ezra Bridger, pretty solid. Little Leia, Grogu's the one that I think is whatever. Then young Boba Fett. Yeah, you're pretty. I mean, you can't go wrong with anyone on this list, really. The only thing about Little Leia that I didn't like was she got kidnapped way too often. It's like yeah, we would have got away with it too. Those are your rankings. Chat, what are yours? I should have told you beforehand, but rewind this and pretend you didn't hear what I said, and then put your numbers in the chat. It's one thing about going live is the two people that watch us live put their numbers in the chat.
Yeah.
Those are always fun, the blind rankings. Sunday, I'm going to let everybody know Sunday, Fantasia is going to have 'Twas the Night Before Star Wars. Now that I said this, it has to come to fruition. He's going to recite a poem. He's done this before. Fantastic. Mando and Rise of Skywalker, and I think he hates doing it, but he reluctantly does, and I'm going to force him to do it every time Star Wars is released before Christmas in that 1 month span. I'm going to force him to do it because he's not canon, and he never will be canon. All right, the odds.
Let's do it.
Possibility of successfully navigating an asteroid field is approximately 3,720 to 1.
Never tell me the odds.
Never tell me the odds. Brought to everyone here by patreon.com/Rebel Scum Podcast. If you like what we do, why don't you head on down to patreon.com/Rebel Scum Podcast and support us in any way we can. Greatly appreciate it. And you will become one of the many people that we love and adore and shout out their name every episode. And those people are Heidi Feder, executive producer, Barry Brophy, Dennis Allen, Sooner Thrawn, Randy Kenobi, Mary Kristen Aton, Dale Erdman, Phil Staniforth, Rez, Scott D,
Josh Price, Matt W, Frank Perkins, Neil Lowry, Cosmic Girl 02, Gleek Play 1, Den of Nerds, Disney, Desi, Charlotte, Ron Prasek, and Jeff Wilson.
Yes, thank you.
Trying not to sneeze. Thank you all for your support. We are thankful for you on this day to give thanks in the southern states.
Nice.
You're not going to Black Friday this year, huh?
Bro, Black Friday's every day. These glasses I bought in Black Friday on November 17th and got them today. Bun Luke.
What is that?
It is a website that became a store, and my last 4 pairs of glasses have come from there.
I go to Loblaws. I get mine at Loblaws. I get mine at Loblaws. They have a 2-for-1 deal, and that's when I go in and scoop them up.
Well, you don't have a massive nose like I do, and terrible, terrible eyesight.
My eyesight's pretty bad now. It's probably not like yours. I'm not trying to one up you on the eyesight. but they were like, we're gonna get you the thin lens because your prescription's getting to that point. I'm like, what?
Yeah, they're like, you could order glasses online, but not with your prescription. We own you now. I'm like, so yeah.
I just got a pair last week, so they should be arriving soon. Yeah, that's we're like glasses buddies. These are Nikes.
Oh,
2-for-1 Loblaws.
Oh yeah.
I used to have Joe Fresh, and when I got 2-for-1 Joe Fresh, they're like, "Whoa, you're not getting expensive enough glasses." And I said, "What are you talking about?" So they made me get more expensive. They're like, "Yeah, you need to get more expensive glasses." I said, "Okay." They helped me out, man. I'm frugal. I'm not. All right, Never Tell Me the Odds. Thank you all so much, Patreon, and everyone who wears glasses. Never Tell Me the Odds. In Skeleton Crew, the name Skywalker will be mentioned in Skeleton Crew. Will the name Skywalker be mentioned in Skeleton Crew?
Let's get crazy and say no. So 10%.
I don't know that. I'm going to go 11%. I will Price is Right you on this one, but I don't think it's going to happen. They also said they came out. The co-creator of the show said Jude Law is not Palpatine, and I was like, "How dare you? How dare you?" I thought it was funny when he said that. Though. I'm like, he saw our video. Snokey Snoke. All right, Never Tell Me the Odds. This one is for Heidi. It's not from Heidi. It's for Heidi. Never Tell Me the Odds. Jude Law is a Sith. A Sith.
I'm all for making him somewhat. What's the term for this? Morally ambiguous.
He doesn't have to be Sith, like dark side user. Let's say dark side user because they're weird.
It's not. I don't think his character is going to be clear cut. But Sith, I'm going to go 45%.
Yeah, I'm gonna go full Brock on it. But I don't see. I think lower is better because they said he's a different type of Jedi. What the hell does that mean?
Yeah.
Like, okay, he's a Jedi who just turns to the dark side. We have that in Balin and Shin and every other Sith that's ever existed. Like, I don't know. So I'm gonna go full Brock on him because I hope that because they've said this stuff about him, that they're not leading us to a dead end. Like, I hope there's something more to him. And there's like all the commercials now are like, do you trust Jod Wood? And I'm like, not with a name like that, but yeah, I guess. Also, in the holiday, Brock, you should watch it because half the scenes he's like tanned and half he's not. Because apparently he tans very quickly. So like half the movie was shot like 6 months later, and like his skin tone changes in that movie. But the score. And our final lot is from non-canon Andrew Fantasia. One of the kids in Skeleton Crew will say that's so wizard.
All right. I'm gonna take a moment here. Maybe this will be historical to the podcast. Andrew, you're officially canon right now.
Whoa!
This is a great idea. I love it. 85%. It'll happen. Okay, and let's hold on for one more second. Andrew, you're officially no longer canon. Thank you. Go about your day.
I'm going to clip this and no one will know what we're talking about.
Yeah, this will be our little YouTube, whatever those things are called. I forget. What are they called?
The shorts?
Shorts, thank you.
Shorts.
God, I'm so old.
YouTube used to push them. They're like, new shorts. And now they're like, nobody watches shorts. You know what? Yeah, I want to go. I don't think they're actually going to, but I'm going to go 91% because they should. Like everything about this show, someone should say wizard. And I really, really want that to happen. So those are our odds. Let us know what your odds are in the comments down below. Brock, we're going to go over to Hollow News.
Hollow News. Hollow News. Hollow News. The news you need to know right now. 5 years later. Oh, wait, no, first, the Disney Store has another lightsaber hilt replica coming from Star Wars Galaxy's Edge at Walt Disney World and Disneyland. And this time, it's the weapon of the Wookiee Jedi and Order 66 survivor, Gungi. We talked about Gungi last episode just randomly. I'm like, this is amazing. Appearing in Star Wars, The Clone Wars, Star Wars, The Bad Batch, Gungi's lightsaber hilt is carved from the Brie Lark tree, which is recreated in this replica with the look of ancient wood grain paired with intricate silver tone etchings. It will become packaged in a case with the elemental nature insignia on the front. As with other lightsaber hilts in Disney's collection, there is a switch on the hilt to activate lightsaber noises and illuminate the blade in red, should you choose to purchase it separately. Both the hilt and the lightsaber blades will be available starting November 30th at 8 a.m. Pacific time, 11 a.m. Eastern time on the Disney Store, priced at $159.99 US. 5 years after the release, let's call it first announced in 2019 for a planned 2020 release. Marvel Comics tradition of Star Wars comic book adaptations finally continues next February with the Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker adaptation. And it was all delayed, a bunch of different stuff, mostly because of COVID. But here we are. If you're looking forward to that, it's coming out next year, February 2025. Written by Jody Hauser and illustrated by artist Will Sliney. The previous announced 5-issue limited series brings 2019 Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker film to the page at last. In addition to retelling the Resistance to desperate last stand, the shocking return of Emperor Palpatine, and more. The series will include all new scenes not in the final film. So if you're like, I want to get that more story, check that out at your local comic book store this February. And it was everywhere on the internet. Apparently, Denis Villeneuve will never make a Star Wars movies. That's it. And this has been your Hollow News.
Suck it, Denis.
Suck it.
Suck it. Canada sucks.
I guess we do. I don't know. I'm like,
suck at making Star Wars.
I was just like,
no wait, Pepper Chow did. Yeah.
I was just sort of like, yeah, no doy. He made Dune. Why would he make another one?
It's the comment he made about like why he wouldn't is what I'm like. Oh, that's kind of a weird, like how it like peaked with or like it changed with. I'm like, yeah. So to change it, but I guess that speaks to the point we said earlier, where it's like if you change it too much, fans aren't ready for it. But also, I don't know. He has a point too, where it's like, what is Star Wars? And if that is what Star Wars is, can it ever be something different? And maybe The Last Jedi proved that it can't be. Yeah. We are in a conundrum.
Why?
I just wanted to say conundrum.
Oh, okay. I was like, I was half listening to you, but like,
Top five things about Star Wars we are thankful for on this American Thanksgiving. It's always thankful for lightsabers, but I'm just going to go lightsabers right off the bat. Not the new crappy sounding Disney lightsabers, you Disney jerks. The old school Ben Burt hollow sounding ones that don't have any bass. That's what I'm talking about. Don't really care. Any Star Wars sounds I love. I'm giving Selena one for Christmas. I hope she doesn't watch this episode later. I'm giving her like Anakin's lightsaber from like 2007. Still in the package.
If she can figure out how to start YouTube on any type of device, I'll be like, I'll buy her a lightsaber.
I gotta send you a video. She's like, she won't. She's learning. She's speaking, man. She is talking up the storm. And she talks back. She has a little attitude on that girl right now, and I love it. But I also am like, stop. What are you doing? I'm like, can we do this? No. I'm like, that's it. Jeez.
I was with my niece Julianne this weekend because she just turned 2, so she's like a month or 2 younger than Selena. And at some point, someone did this, and someone's like, "Why are you doing that?" They're like, "No, no," and Julianne started doing it. So if you go up to her like this, so it's just like every time she's doing it, she'll say no like this, but it's almost like she's like force pushing, like or like lightning. I almost should take a video, put force lightning into it. It would be fantastic.
Yeah, it's the greatest. I think it's the most fun age to watch right now. Because firstly, the blob and all that, but now it's like she's like this little person who has this. I dropped her off at daycare today. She did not care. I dropped her off. She gave me a kiss goodbye and just walked away. When Aaron drops her off, tears like fucking Niagara Falls. For me, it's like da da bye, bye bye da da. I'm like, what? What the? I actually turned around and I said, "Don't cry too much," and the daycare educators all laughed because it was funny.
They're like, go to work and make my college tuition, which will be $40 million by the time I get to college.
Seriously.
Bye.
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 Did you do your number?
No, 5? I did not. My number 5, I'm going to go with just the opening Star Wars, 20th Century Fox.
Frick.
Which I guess it would be Disney now. I
can't even remember. Put the fanfare back on. They got the fanfare, like they own Fox. Put the fanfare back on.
Yeah, they do. Ouch! I totally forgot about that. But then the quiet of Lucasfilm, and then the quiet of a long time ago, and then I'm very thankful for that. Though I will say the new starting credits for shows on Disney Plus, like the Star Wars, where it's their helmets they change and that music, it's getting there for me where I'm like, oh yeah, I'm ready.
It's good for for the TV, but in a theater you want the impact.
No, it's not the same, but it's still like giving you that like endorphins.
Yeah, I know, because you know what you're getting. You're like, oh, it still feels like an event, but it's like a smaller, like a TV version event. I'm with it.
Yeah,
I agree. I don't have that on my list because I'm a freaking idiot. Like when you hear my number 3, you're like, why didn't you just change it? These aren't set in stone. I'm not going to. My number 4 is quite simply A New Hope, because without it, we're not here talking right now. Like, it's like, I'm very thankful for that. And we talked earlier, like with Pete, like that scene on the desert of Tatooine with 3PO just wandering. And it's all silent. I remember just watching that as a kid, just like loving every minute of it. I think the music helps out. And I understand kids being bored with that today. But I think, you got to get them while they're young. You got to show them that out of the womb. Otherwise, they're not going to like it. Everything now is like flash, 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 flash. And it took its time, and I love it. So that's my number 4, is just plain and simple, A New Hope.
Well, like when I was thinking about this list, I was like, oh, it's like Chewbacca, Ewoks, X-Wing fighters. I'm like, no, let's mix it up a bit. My number 4 is going to be puppets. So that will include Ewoks in that. But not Chewbacca.
Damn you, Chewbacca.
But more, I guess, more like practical. Well, no, it's kind of no. Well, I guess puppets are practical no matter what.
Phil Tippett's back.
Exactly. So practical puppets. It's we saw like the return of it a little bit in the first couple of movies, and it's like it does have an effect, and like you can like the puppets of the original one, the original Yoda, and then Grogu to return to his roots. But not the prequel puppet Yoda. Get out of here. You're fired. You're fired.
Funny you should bring up puppets, Brock, because now my number 3 is Jar Jar Binks.
Oh.
Because Jar Jar Binks showed that you don't need stupid old puppets. You could do everything. I'm just joking. It is Jar Jar Binks.
Friend
it could have been the opening crawl, but I said Jar Jar Binks because
honestly, if you didn't have Jar Jar, it'd be like, well, what are we doing here?
Dude, just remember when I got that pin at Star Wars Celebration and the excitement I had.
I don't have a lot of regrets in my life, but the fact that I stopped the video there.
I got Ezra first.
Oh, anyways.
I love Jar Jar. I'm a big Jar Jar fan. And so just out of respect, I'm putting Jar Jar not number 5, number 3.
Perfect. Yeah. Oh gosh, what was I going to say now? I don't know. My number 3 is going to be X-Wing. X-Wings. Just, they're great. I put my Star Wars, it's just like 10, 20, 15 feet over there. We have a second Christmas tree, and it's all my nerd ornaments. Not in this room. It's on the other side of this blue void. And it's like that. It's always like the Millennium Falcon has to be here, and the X-Wing has to be flying. And so it's like they're just escaping the explosion of the Death Star. And like maybe the star on the top is not just a star, it's an explosion. So there you have it. I love X-Wings. They're the best.
Yeah, you do love X-Wings. Didn't I get you a book? We gave you a book once, like the
it's over there.
Workings of that was we were like, this book is for Brock and Brock only. There's 7 people who want this book, and Brock is one of them. They had a Millennium Falcon one too, if I remember correctly, but we knew our demographic. My number 2, Grogu.
That's your number 2, Grogu?
That's my number 2, Grogu. He's, I guess, like I say, you know why? Because it was like that moment of Grogu on screen was, I mean, obviously, I think A New Hope is a lot more important, obviously, but it was, it's just, we got to look at it with recency bias and all that. And like that moment was so big, and he reinvigorated every Star Wars fan who the sequels might have turned off in some capacity or whatever, or I don't know, but like I remember my brother-in-law saying that my niece was like, it's Baby Yoda, and she wasn't even like, she was a lot younger. She didn't even really watch Star Wars or know anything, but like the fact that everybody was like, Baby Yoda, like the design, everything about it just hit so perfectly. That I have to have him on my list as number 2 because he's in my favorite episode of Star Wars TV. And that's the child episode with the egg.
Yeah.
the egg episode of The Mandalorian is the best.
Yeah.
So anyway, yeah, I don't know. I know people are tired of them now, but
why? Hey, you. Hey, whoever's saying you shut up.
Shut up.
Shut up.
You go watch the Warriors, bro.
Warriors come out to play. Yay. My number 2 is Chewbacca because why not?
I like you're like, I'm not gonna have Chewbacca and Ewoks on my list. Number 2 is Chewbacca. Number 1 is Ewoks.
No,
Psych.
Ewoks isn't puppets, so we've covered that.
But they're costumes though.
I know.
Okay, I get it. They're like the big, what's that big Muppet guy who's a costume, but he's also. I get it.
Yeah.
There's just like a mini version of that guy. All right, my number one is the Rebel Scum community.
You got me.
From Patreon to non-Patreon to just the random person that shows up in the chat. And everybody that hates Star Wars that makes me lose even more hair. It's a lot of fun to talk Star Wars with you, Brock. Obviously, you are included in that, and but not Andrew. But it's a lot of fun, and I hope he's watching. I hope he comments on this. That's my number 1. I'm thankful for all of you.
The canon window opened and shut for him, so he had his 10 seconds of like that was a good idea. What can I say? My number 1 is the same. It's just like I'm thankful that Star Wars exists so that this podcast can exist. It's fun, it's even though we haven't had a ton to talk about in the last couple months. I don't know, but it's like I don't know. I really do enjoy. I do enjoy talking Star Wars, and today was like a great example of how like just our little community we've created on Rebel Scum Podcast. Like today, we've talked so much about Star Wars. Hopefully, we didn't repeat ourselves too much. I don't know.
Or just enough to get into that algorithm.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's a blast. I love you guys.
Oh, here we go. That's right. It's like I texted you like when like your wife texts you. It's like, hey, do you want this? Hey, do we need apples? Can you go check if we have enough frozen pizzas? There's like, it's like, hey, you
frozen
want
pizza? Whoa!
I know, bad choice.
I want to show you something. I showed this on a Flying Casual on Monday. You hate it when I do this. That's why I'm doing it. But check it out. This is like my old 35s. This is the planet of the Hoojibs. Okay, there's your Chewie right there. There's your Chewie. This is, and the thing is, like, it's in pretty good shape. I could probably sell this for like $1.25. And then I have, hold on, there's more in here, obviously. Oh, this one is show. Oh, maybe the Empire Strikes Back.
Nice.
Yeah, this is how I learned to read. When R2 went wow, 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 you turn the page. That's how you learned to read in the 80s. For all you kids with apples. Phones, like Apple phones. Like I'm sure all the kids have apples, but I mean like phones. There's another one in here, but I'm not gonna be able to find it. I should have put more thought into this.
If that Hoojibs one with Chewbacca was on a t-shirt, I would absolutely buy that, regardless of being explained what it is. Oh, there it is.
Yep. The records are all like here. This is the Magic One Night Stand, the Magic Lanterns. Frisco Annie. I don't even. These are my parents back here now. What's this one? Badfinger. We're just killing time. Here we go. Spirit in the Sky. That's a good song.
There you go.
Anyway, these are. I used to. So you can see the shape this is in. It's been in this shape since 1985. Like I used to live in that little box, and I would play those. I broke so many needles listening to How to Read with Star Wars and listening to Beach Boys. My parents hated me when I was a kid because of how many needles I broke on the record player. So kids, needles just touched the record and it would spin. And they got mad at me a lot. A lot. Because like a 5-year-old should not be touching a needle on a record player. But alas, little James did. Little James. I was friends with little Archie.
It's kind of crazy that we live through the most random assortment of like recording medium or just
now
content. Like, ugh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I still listen to records. I get Aaron buys me my vinyl like every year or so, and
nice.
then, like I just sit there and I play, and I'm like, oh, I gotta go flip the record.
What would trip me out is if you had like the vinyl of some like really new thing, like Sabrina Carpenter, or which I'm sure
I
exists.
have. This just came out. This is new.
Oh yeah.
Game. It's still the package.
Yeah.
I have like the Batman Michael Giacchino score on vinyl. Aaron got me the Suicide Squad movie soundtrack on vinyl. I have some Killers on vinyl.
Do you have the Kendrick Lamar diss track? That would be. I'll be like, wow, why does this exist?
No, I have the Roots on vinyl, like a new Root.
Oh, cool.
What else do I have? I have some new ones, but the problem is they're like $50. So I'm like, I'm not spending $50 on it. I remember one time my favorite Elton John album is Captain Fantastic and the Brown Dirt Cowboy.
Right.
And it's not his best known, but my favorite song is Bitter Fingers. It's my favorite Elton John song. It's like not even close to being one of his most popular. It's like his most popular, second most popular, and it's somewhere in the dirt. And I love that song. And I went one time to get that on vinyl, and it was $45. And I lived in Port Credit at the time, so this is probably like 9 years ago. $45. I said, I got this for my dad on CD for $5 in 1993. Like, what are you doing here? And so I don't know that one, but that like the prices are just insane. So the new records I don't have too many of. But what do I have? What's my most recent one? I have the Witcher soundtrack. I got it on sale because that's how I do it. It's 2 discs or 2 records, 2 discs. What else do I have? Try to think of some cool. I have the Prince Batman soundtrack is my favorite. Like that's that was the last record I bought before they came back to be cool in 2000. Like that was like 1990, I think my parents got from. Yeah, like that's a wicked album, man. Prince rocks, literally. All right, that's enough record talk. Boom.
Graphic out.
Show done. Let me take this off too. Watch. Boom.
Oh.
That's how you know things are getting real.
Well, we are wrapping it up for today. Thank you for being with us on American Thanksgiving, aka the false Thanksgiving. This whole time.
Is Canadian Thanksgiving actually that was the one that like one of them moved?
That's made up.
Yeah, I know, but I think it was later in the year at some point. I could
probably
be wrong. Yeah, but not like as late as this one, but still. Anyway, second Monday of October, bro. That's when you gotta do it before Halloween. Yeah. I will say I do like that this one kicks off the holiday season. Like I kind of like that you're like, here we go. Like that's a good. Ours kicks off. Frick, it's gonna be cold soon. That's
frick.
We can go apple picking, but still be pissed off at the weather.
Yeah.
But anyway, I thank everybody for joining us. And if you joined us for all 3 shows today, thank you so much for that. It's been awesome. And if you didn't, why not?
Yeah, why not? What's wrong with you?
All right, let's wrap it up. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Have a great, safe Thanksgiving if you're in the States. And if you're not, have a great Thursday. Brock, you were always scum.
Rebel scum.
Scumbags, thanks for watching. Don't forget to give us a thumbs up on our video. As always, please subscribe to our YouTube channel, Rebel Scum Podcast, for all the latest videos.